Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Wild Wasteland. As always, I'm Dean Maldonado. With me is the beautiful Michael Johnson.
What's going on? What's happening? Vodka and club soda.
No, vodka and bowls of red.
Red Bulls, thank you for your sponsorship.
Yeah, you didn't give us wings, but you gave us at least 2 cans. They give hot girls a full car and unlimited Red Bull, but they give us schlubs just 2 cans of Red Bull.
No, we only got the one. We had to split it.
Well, I drank the. Oh yeah, you're right. We totally only got one can of Red Bull.
You fucking prick. What are we talking about today?
Well, I mean, I've been sifting through the Tesla files, and
is this part 2?
This
is part 2 of an ongoing series of Nikola Tesla.
Before we jump into that,
okay.
Before we get to, as I like to call it, Tesla 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Boom, boom, shboom, boom, boom, shboom.
It works for it, you know?
Yeah, I like it.
He is electric. Let's talk about Area 51.
It's in the news right now.
Well, and then you're in dire straits about this whole thing.
Well, I don't really want to talk. I don't really want to broadcast what I'm angry about, but
no, you don't have to. But
yeah, no, we had the potential to be millionaires.
Yeah, we it was Michael was offered the deed to Groom Lake back in 1919 from the original owners of Groom Lake, which
the Native Americans.
Well, no, the Native Americans wanted nothing to do with it. It was a dry little salty bed.
We like it.
It was owned by an English company called Groom Lead Mines Limited.
Oh,
and they were mining for lead and silver back in 1864. They did it until 1818, and they resumed a little bit in the early 50s. But
how much lead did they find?
Enough to poison a nation.
I got some lead for you.
But it is it's an interesting place.
I like this concept. Like, you mine the lead, you have the property, you sell it to the government, you make bullets, you sell the bullets back to the government.
Exactly.
Jesus Christ.
Well,
it's like it prints money.
The crazy thing is that really the name Area 51 just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, there's not like an area 1 through 50, is there?
Well, so people originally thought that that the name of it, Area 51, was because of there were these maps made because they tested a shit ton of bombs.
Yeah, you should
Groom Lake.
Look at Google Earth. Like, it's crazy how many craters are. Like, it's insane. There's like 2,000 craters around Area 51.
Yeah, well, they used it. It was called the Nellis Bombing Range Test Site. And,
nice. That's pretty sexy. That's a good name.
But the thing is that, like, that part of Nevada it's like from there over to like just north of Flagstaff, Arizona is all just like government testing grounds.
Yeah, no. It's the best place for a government to test because it's just a flat, nobody wants to be there, surface, surrounded by giant mountains.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, I was even watching this morning on the news. They, north of Flagstaff is where they bombed the shit out of the ground to make it into a lunar testing facility. That's where they train all the astronauts.
Right, a lunar testing facility, quote unquote. Definitely not a film studio, quote unquote.
It would not be able to be dressed up well enough to look like the moon. The ground looks lightly like what the moon might look like, but like the fact that you have the sun shining and birds chirping and like
just take the sound
green
out,
green grass in the background on the mountains,
burn it.
It's really wouldn't be worth it. But so basically, when they were doing those tests, the Nevada test range made a topographic map and broke it up into areas, and it's adjacent to Area 15, but really still does not make sense as to why there'd be a 51.
Interesting.
Area 51 is also sometimes known as Dreamland and Paradise Ranch in different documents.
Okay. Sounds like a pedophile ring.
Well, so the thing that was interesting to me is that I didn't know that it was originally a mining facility.
I had no idea that there was anything there.
Which makes a lot of sense that the majority of the facilities of Area 51 are underground inside the mountain.
Same thing with Britain's Area 51. They have, it's an old, I want to say chaff mine or some type of mine, but it's just like huge, like miles of tunnels underneath this one like property, and they're like, oh, that's where Britain does all their Area 51 shit. And it's just like, it has to be on a former mine. Like, it has to be just miles of tunnels.
Yeah. Well, they so it's owned and operated by the Department of Defense and the Air Force and the CIA, which is easy for the government to do because that makes them, it gives them the ability to be like, oh, I'm sorry, the CIA has nothing to do with that facility. You got to go ask the Air Force. And then the Air Force can be like, oh, we're so sorry. You got to go talk to the Department of Defense. And the Department of Defense is like, you know what? We'll write a memorandum to the CIA for you, and we'll try and find out what's going on.
I love how you became more of like a fucking West Coast hippie as you went on. Like, yeah, you got to talk to the Air Force.
That's what they do. They just send you on a fucking loop, like a goddamn
a run around. Yeah, they giving you the run around.
Yeah, like a Cali surfer trying to sell you some really like hope beads, man.
Man.
You hold them on your wrist.
Dope.
And the great part is
I buy them?
It's like secured, so like it won't fall off when you hit a gnarly surf.
Sweet. Dude, can I buy it?
Yeah, it's like $1,700.
Whoa, dude. Brutal. It's a fucking bummer, dude.
Now, if you look into the history, just kind of a breeze over of Area 51,
right?
All you're really gonna find is a list of the different planes that they tested there, and a list of different conspiracies that have spawned from it.
Yeah, like literally every conspiracy since 1954.
Yeah. Now, the thing that interested me about Area 51 was to do with the movie Independence Day.
Yeah, because that's where the alien craft was. That's where the dead body was. That's where Will Smith is.
Not even that.
Okay.
But when Independence Day first started filming,
right,
the U.S. government was all for it. And they actually loaned legitimate aircrafts and uniforms and like personnel to the studio to film this movie.
Yeah.
With the stipulation that they never mention Area 51. And the director was like, yeah, no, we're like basing the majority of the movie at Area 51. And they pulled everything. And they were like, yeah, have fun making it, assholes.
Yeah,
like,
you fucking German.
They didn't want anyone to know about it. I mean,
it wasn't until 2008 that they officially acknowledged Area 51's existence.
Yeah. And actually they had to do it because of
Independence Day 2.
No, because of so this guy Dwayne A. Day published an article in the Space Review called Astronauts in Area 51, the Skylab incident in 2006. Now, it's based on a memo from 1974 to the CIA director, William Colby.
Yeah, man.
And it reported that astronauts on board Skylab 4 had inadvertently photographed a certain location. Now, they said that there were specific instructions not to do this.
Yeah, not to release this picture.
Only the location, and this was literally the one and only location with that instruction. The name of the location was obscured, but the context led Day to believe it was Groom Lake. Now, Day argued that the CIA considered no spot on Earth to be as sensitive as Groom Lake. And there were handwritten remarks from Colby.
Yeah.
Basically saying that he's like, okay, well, you got to let it go. He's like, if anything, we have to let the photos go because he goes for 3 reasons. 1, the USSR can already see it from their own satellites.
Son of a bitch.
He goes, 2, what the fuck does it really actually reveal? And 3, if it's exposed, don't we just say it's classified USAF work that's done in there?
Yeah.
And so they released it, and that's when they acknowledged Area 51.
Wow.
Now,
that kind of feels kind of sad, you know? Like, the government just wanted one thing to be secret. Like, come on, guys. Like, we show you everything else. Just let us have this one secret base.
I love that you say that America shows us everything else.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, what do you want to know?
What do you want to know? Okay.
Yeah, no, we'll let you
Good.
know that one. But Area 51, come on, that's the one thing.
And what's really interesting is that there was it was back in the late 80s. There was a group of people that sued.
It was in the 90s. It was during the Clinton administration.
Well, it started before Clinton.
Yeah,
it actually came to court during Clinton.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It was through the EPA that these people were being poisoned by these random chemicals that were in their water, and so Rutgers University tested their fluids and bodily liquids, and they did find like 4 or 5 different contaminants.
No, they were burning materials at Area 51. Like they're just lighting shit on fire.
Yeah, but they
with like jet fuel or some
what
shit.
I'm saying is that the people who complained had
okay.
blood work done at Rutgers University in New Jersey, and they found like 5 different chemicals that should never be near the human body.
How did you do this? We were burning fucking garbage at Area 51. What Area 50? What?
Yeah, and
it doesn't exist, dude.
And Bill Clinton, the supposed president who wanted to know about aliens the most, was the one who put his foot down and literally made a presidential decree.
You can't sue the government or something, right? Or something.
Well, no, that basically that it wasn't that they are protected.
Oh, yeah, of course.
That because the documents about what they do can't become unclassified because of security issues, that even if they're sued, they don't have to declassify really anything.
How bad do you want to look at those documents?
I want to look at a lot of their documents rather badly.
Like you are all about these reading documents.
Well, it's where you get the most shit.
Yeah, like I get it.
It's hard to filter it. You know,
these are written from the documents of people that were actually there.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's like
it's the best firsthand resource I can possibly get my hands on.
So why are we talking about Area 51?
Well, I mean, you're right. They're in the news. There was a Facebook group that was started a little while ago, about 2.5 months ago.
Yeah.
And it really started to gain traction in the last probably 2.5 weeks, which is
huge traction, yeah.
Which is everyone storm Area 51. They can't stop all of us.
Yeah, no, that's a good mentality.
It has at this point I think like 1.7 million people.
Yeah, all the normies found out. Everyone's mom is liking it, going to it, and like I'm gonna go there too. All
the Europeans are saying, okay, on the same day that the Americans are, giving their lives to find out this information at 51, they're like, oh, we should storm the Vatican, or oh, we should storm Nestle. Or
see,
like,
now I'm with the storming the Vatican.
Yeah, I want to see what's in Nestle. The fucking Vatican's vaults.
There's some
Vatican
crazy shit.
They have a copy of almost every single book ever written.
Yeah, it's like the Library of Congress if the Library of Congress was around at the beginning of time.
It was like if the Library of Congress was able to absorb all of the shit that was in the Library of Alexandria before it burnt down.
Yeah, and
then they add it to all of the online ebooks that Amazon has.
Oh, wow.
That's what they have down there.
That's ridiculous.
But instead of just like 98% being shitty little like rom-com dramas or those steamy like sex books.
Dinosaur sex books. Yeah. I love those. Have you ever seen those? Like, I fucked a raptor.
It's like, what the fuck? And people read this?
I jerk off to it.
Instead of that, it's like very influential texts.
Yeah, from the last like 2,000 years
that have been stomped on.
What is this? Oh, that's Pope Alexander III's footprint. Oh, interesting.
It's like, that's the Book of Mary. The Book of who? Yeah, Mary.
Some dumb whore.
She's the one who shot out that kid that one time in the desert. When? Sometime in July. But so because we've talked about Area 51 a good amount of times because it is where a lot of shit goes down.
Yeah, it's definitely the most American conspiracy bad guy looming presence in most theories.
Yeah, it really is because it's kind of like the office of alien property.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of like that. We're
we're bringing that back.
You
from
don't
last
really
episode?
know what's in there, but you want to.
It's like the
at the end of the day, there's probably just a bunch of just random papers that don't mean jack shit to anyone.
It's all garbage.
Yeah, but
you find that one key document though. That one.
All you just
need is a good page.
Exactly.
Like I bet all that like Indiana Jones and the Temple of the first movie, Raiders of the Lost Temple arc. I bet there's like that. They just have like a room just filled with wooden boxes and weird shit.
Most likely.
Aliens and
now we in our last episode on Tesla, we talked a lot about the uncovered files that the FBI had on them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, since then, I have found there's a really fun little show. They don't do a great job of actually delving into what the files are about.
Mm-hmm.
But what they do a good job of is finding more. Because it's called the Tesla Files.
Yeah.
It was a history show. Ran for like 6 episodes or something like that.
Okay.
And it's a world-renowned physicist and an electric engineer who are basically trying to go through they read part of the files, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because all that they keep mentioning is that it's noted in the FBI documents that Tesla had 80 trunks of notes.
Yeah.
And when they sent everything they had to Yugoslavia to go and be in the Tesla Museum.
Yeah.
The Tesla Museum only received 60 cases. So they were trying to find what happened to the missing 20 cases and what was in it.
Well, how big is a trunk?
I mean, about probably 3.5 feet long and about 2.5 feet deep.
How big is a case?
That's a different story altogether.
Yeah,
the trunks that he was using were like, they're not small. They're what you see the fuckers in Harry Potter lugging to the train.
Okay.
They're big.
Are we talking about like briefcases?
No.
Because if they had 80 trunks.
One of these trunks could probably fit like 20 briefcases.
That's what I'm saying.
They're big as fuck. Now, the thing that really is odd to me, though, is that there's all this discussion in the documents and in the show about these trunks and about Tesla's notes, even though one of the most commonly noted things throughout his life was that he had very bad handwriting and did all of his work in his head and didn't draw schematics nor take notes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm left to wonder why were there 80 trunks worth of anything? Because
he was losing his mind. What do you think?
I mean, maybe. Now, one of the things I've been really because they test a lot of his stuff, right? Like they test his experiments in Colorado where he was able to walk out into a field and put light bulbs on the ground, walk away, and they lit up. And they were able to do that,
right?
Using a Tesla coil and a gardening nail, which goes like 15 inches into the ground.
Okay, more fucking piercing the ground.
Yeah, because the ground is an electric conductor.
I get it.
That's what they're trying to prove, which has always been seen as false.
Yeah, the ground is the reason why they call it a ground wire is because there's no electricity in it.
Exactly. Now,
so this guy's disproving the concept of the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And so they went in another episode to his facility where he built the giant Tesla tower, which was like 187 feet tall.
Tower.
And what they were doing, because the tower was taken down a while ago, but the structure where it was sitting is still there. And so they used radar ground scanning technology, and they made an image of what was underneath there, which was what they believed would have been like a down shaft and then a network of tunnels. And there is. Now, they don't know how to access the network of tunnels, but they found that there was a network of tunnels basically grounding this giant tower to hopefully utilize the Earth and the ionosphere to send electricity across the world through the ionosphere. And now Tesla was trying to do this like 40 years before we knew about the ionosphere.
That's nuts. It's fucking crazy.
Now, and I mean, everything about Tesla is incredible.
Yeah.
And it really makes me question what, the American school system teaches. Because
you're starting to question it.
Well, mainly because of what you said last episode.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very commonly held belief that Tesla was a nobody, that Tesla died penniless and alone, that he was in love with a pigeon.
He listened to radio waves and went crazy.
Yeah, and that's what people believe.
Yeah.
But that's not true at all.
The FBI killed him and
No,
stole his trunks.
He was a very wealthy man for the majority of his life.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't spend his wealth in the way that most people did back then because he kept putting it into his research.
Instead of blowing it at the casino.
But he was a very wealthy man. I even found out during this that in his last years of life, he was being paid a stipend of, I think it was like, he was getting paid $4,000 a month.
That's good money now.
Yeah. He was, and that was back in 1943.
Jesus Christ.
Started in like 35. He was just getting regular payments, basically almost as like a pension from different countries that he had built things for.
Yeah, no.
And so it's not like he never sold his patents. He never wanted to sell his technology. He just wanted to give it away and make the world a better place. But by doing that, he did gain a vast amount of wealth. That's why he was able to live in the New Yorker Hotel, which was the swankiest hotel of the time, in a 2-bedroom conjoining room for like the last 5 years of his life.
Now I know why he was penniless. That was probably like $4,000 a month. Sheesh.
Easily. But
God damn it.
So let's get back into these documents, right?
Okay.
Last episode we got up to
we were exploring
basically
Tesla's life. Going through it, getting to know the man a little bit more.
And kind of trying to, basically just watching the FBI's rigmarole of sending people on wild goose chases.
Yeah, that was a funny aspect of it. Like,
yeah, my God.
J. Edgar Hoover just said everybody something.
Kept crushing people's dreams.
Like, I just want to know, there's nothing here. Bother somebody else.
Yeah, go ask that other department. That's not us. That's not
like
us.
you said about Area 51. Like, it's, go talk to the DOD, go talk to the FBI, go talk to the CIA. Just constantly, this is what the government does best.
Yeah.
But what are we doing today? Like, what are we learning about? What are we getting into? So
the second half of the first batch of documents that I have, basically page 150 through like 250.
Yeah.
It's a different set of documents basically referencing to the first set that we talked about last week. And so the entire thing is a cross-reference.
Okay.
Now, a lot of the documents I have read before, mainly because they were in the beginning, and now they're basically just trying to check that everything is making sense.
Doing some research.
Yeah. So it starts, obviously, by noting the time of death of Tesla. And as we know, the FBI has to recant his entire life story in every fucking document. And then it brings back up in the file about Sava Kosnovich,
Okay.
Tesla's nephew who he hated, the one that was the FBI informant that was sent to get the documents. Yeah. Now, we learned in the first half that Kosnovich was sent in after Tesla died to recover a lot of his artifacts and also to try and be the next of kin to get things away from the Office of Alien Property.
Yeah.
Now, the file's dated January 9th, 1943, which is 2 days after Tesla's death.
Oh, they waited at least a few days. That's
yeah,
nice.
yeah. It brings out this fun little story again. It was pointed out that Mr. Dogan given that Sava Kosnovich, George Clark, and Kenneth Swayze may have committed a burglary violation by entering Tesla's room after his death, and particularly by using a locksmith to get into a safe containing some of Tesla's valuable papers.
Yeah.
And we talked about that in the first one where they possibly stole his metal.
Oh, yeah, they definitely stole his metal. Like, no one could find it. They
Exactly.
still haven't found it, have they?
No, they still have not. So
What'd they do with the fucking metal?
they probably just kept it.
Like, what?
Or melted it down.
They took his metal and melted it down?
It was solid gold.
Oh, my God. That would be the worst fucking thing. Like, J. Edgar Hoover melted it down himself, like, in his own kitchen. Fuck these Eastern European cunts. Just, like, get my dress.
Well, so now we get... Then we get 2 documents in a row, which is classic FBI. The first one states how they're sending Kosnovich in to get the things from Tesla. The next document is stating how they broke into the safe after Tesla died. And then right after that comes good old J. Edgar Hoover, who then is proclaiming that Kosnovich is a spy, that he's a communist, and that he's a spy trying to work for Yugoslavia.
Oh my God!
And that Yugoslavia has been paying him a salary of $1,250 a month.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone fucking knew that. Like, literally, he's not a spy. He was the ambassador to Yugoslavia for the American government.
He's a diplomat.
He literally was a diplomat.
Okay.
And he was the head of, like, the Yugoslavian party in America.
It's a good cover as a spy. I am everything for my country that I represent. Definitely not going to maybe tell them anything.
Right? It's like, what? His
Hello.
entire job is to be good relations between America and Yugoslavia.
Yeah. Pretty bad if you're a spy, though.
But so we get to the question, right? Like, why is the FBI even feeling the need to cross-reference this?
Why is the FBI cross-referencing this?
Well, it's because of a letter that was sent to J. Edgar Hoover on February 12th, 1937, which it got uncovered right at the beginning of the cross-reference, which sent them searching for a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the letter in its entirety, okay?
Okay.
Dear Mr. Hoover, I do not know whether or not the recent series of air crashes on the West Coast has attracted the attention of your department, or whether, if investigation were indicated, the jurisdiction would be your own. An idea as to the cause of these crashes has occurred to me. However, I thought it might bear a bit of checking up. If you will check newspaper files as far back as 1934, I believe you will find that the earliest of the unexplained and apparently unexplainable crashes occurred about that time. As I remember the events, it was during that year that 3 small planes exploded in the air over Texas and southwestern Kansas and Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
These crashes were not accounted for, either by subsequent investigation where the plane occupants were killed, or by the experience of surviving plane occupants in one case. Following these tragedies, there came a lapse of about a year, after which there occurred, likewise without apparent reason, the series of crashes which cost the lives of a senator of Newt Rocken and a number of others. All crashes again occurred in the south and southwest. Again, there was a lapse of time. This was not quite a year, and there started a worst series of air disasters the country has yet seen. One plane lost in the southwest and not yet accounted for. One plane crashes into a mountainside within sight of its airport. And now, the most recent incident, the falling of a United airliner into San Francisco Bay while circling its airport, preparing to land. Now, in this recent incident, the experience of the radio operator at the airport seems to me to be highly illuminating. This operator reported a soft buzz interrupting his communications with the his communication with the liner. A loud roar, such as produced by the worst imaginable static, then silence. The plane had dropped into the bay like a plummet. Crack pilots do not suddenly become rank hams and bungle in handling a ship, nor do 3 motors or even 2 of large airliners stop simultaneously without extremely sufficient reason. These things might happen once or twice in a lifetime. They do not happen 6 and 8 times a year. It is not logical that they should. To digress for a moment, I recall reading an article in the magazine a year or two ago written by Nikola Tesla, the inventor. The article dealt with a new invention of Mr. Tesla's, a giant induction coil which would project power, high voltage, through the atmosphere without the use of transmission wires. Mr. Tesla devoted some space to the possible social benefits that would result from the public should his invention be perfected and become practical. I have not heard of Mr. Tesla now in 2 or 3 years. Perhaps he has left the country. Perhaps he is still here. He might still be working on the invention described as in the above-mentioned article. It might have been stolen from him. In any case, his views on the ideas presented by these 2 unconnected subjects would be well worthwhile having. And if I had the money and the time, I should certainly make the effort to smoke him out myself. The thing is simply this. If one man can make an instrument that will project power through the air for even so short a distance as 500 yards, the then practical limitations of Mr. Tesla's device, it is entirely possible for another to project power for several hundred miles. And the effects of such uncontrolled power on metallic objects in his path is entirely unpredictable. Please do not think me a crank letter writer. I have never before written a letter of this type to anyone, but the idea seems to me within the bounds of possibility that I most sincerely fear it will bear some practical study.
That's crazy. Sincerely yours, love.
Redacted.
Henry Hoover.
But so that is really what kicked off this whole thing, is the fact that
there's like 8 mishaps in 1 year, and they're just like, well, this is impossible. And all of our guys,
and they also weren't covering it. They weren't. There were. I mean, I went out and I tried to find it.
Like news articles or whatever.
Yeah, I went into all my different databases of old newspapers.
What's that called? Like
no, I don't do that. Where I have like the actual
like fish or something, like something fish. You know what I mean? Microfiche, where they would like scroll through.
Yeah, on like the big ass chunky monitor. Yeah, no,
you weren't doing that?
No,
you weren't at the library.
I have certain websites that I can go to.
Pornhub.com.
But I looked almost everywhere. I literally looked for any article about a plane crash from 1932 to 1936, and literally there was nothing.
It's interesting. I can see that because at that era of American zeitgeist or mind mentality, nobody gave a shit about what the government was doing. Like,
I guess, but like that, I get what that.
or they
why
kept
this
it
guy
so
is
secret.
Well, I get why this guy is concerned, right?
He's freaking out. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it literally to him, he put two and two together of Tesla made this invention.
Well, he had schematics for it. He didn't. Oh, in his head, he made it.
No, he did make it.
Oh, he made it.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah. That's what the entire Colorado facility was.
I don't know.
The center of the Colorado facility was a giant Tesla coil that was able to make millions and millions of volts.
Yeah, I get that. That's the power relay. But we're talking about like a death ray or whatever.
No, this isn't the death ray.
No, it's like the ray that they shoot up in the sky and then the plane dies and falls or whatever.
Well, that's what he's saying. This is actually a couple of years before Tesla even went out and did the whole I've almost perfected a death ray speech. This is a couple of years before that.
Oh, okay.
This guy is literally just talking about how he knows that Tesla has a coil that he wants to shoot electricity through the air, and that he believes that either Tesla himself or someone who's trying to perfect Tesla's stolen ideas,
which was Japan at the time,
is they're knocking planes out of the air left and right, and the government's hiding it.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. Yeah, like a gun like that, the only thing that would limit you is the horizon.
Yeah,
like if it really works,
literally wouldn't even limit you because it would just follow the curvature of the Earth until it hit its target.
I don't know. I don't think you could direct it like that. I think it would just be
it wouldn't be able
shot.
It wouldn't be able to go out of the ionosphere, so it would just track with the curvature of the Earth.
Oh, just be bouncing off of shit.
Yeah,
that'd be funny. Like a trick shot with your electricity gun, just shooting up. Like, I want to hit China. Well, we got to direct it towards this angle
and bank it off of Everest, and you're right there.
That's wild. And it just ends up in the Pacific somewhere.
Yeah,
kills like some little boat.
Some poor fisherman and in the Maldives is just quietly fishing and then just like eviscerated.
Like lightning coming from the sky, and you're like, what the? It's like a death lightning.
Literally a death lightning, yeah.
Oh, I wonder. That's happened though before, like crazy lightning strikes. It makes you think. Maybe the government. So this was someone in the government asking someone else in the government about this, or was this a person asking the government?
Yeah, so it was a retired general of the Air Force who was sending.
This wasn't just some dummy.
No, he was very concerned because it wasn't getting noted.
Okay.
Now,
was there any answers in this or no?
It was effectively, we'll look into it.
Oh, okay.
Thanks. It was thanks for bringing this up. We'll look into it.
Yeah, no.
And that was the end of it.
Yeah, no, it always is. Yeah, we'll look into it. Yeah, no, you're not. You're not going to look into it.
So they kept moving in the files, and
I'm furious now. I hate this.
I mean, there's some interesting things that do come up in the files, especially when they're talking about. So there's a whole thing about how Sava Kosnovich, for some reason, I guess they considered him to be like a double agent because they kept spelling his name with a K and he kept spelling his name with a C. And so they were like, it is to be noted the subject's correct name is Sava M. Kosnovich and not Kosnovich as carried in reference letters. It's like, okay, calm down.
Wow, I just love that. An American, like, intelligence agency, like, just completely fucking baffled because they misspelled his name.
Yeah, they literally switched one letter.
It's like, oh, we hit a brick wall on this one. Some dipshit put a K instead of a C. What an idiot. No wonder he wasn't coming up in the double checking his background.
So the details of this, it's a letter from a New York field division from February of 43.
Oh, okay.
So it's about a month after Tesla died.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And they're talking about this guy, Mr. Abe Spannel.
Okay.
Who's the president of International Latex Corporation. He's obviously got some money. He advised the subject is presently the Secretary of State of the Yugoslavian government, which is Kosnovich.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, Kosnovich and Spannel was a very good friend of Tesla's. And He stated that Tesla had more than 900 inventions and patents.
Well, that's pretty good.
Spanel stated that at one time, Tesla had an invention in which he was able to direct electrical current without the means of a conductor. He felt that this type of invention would be of invaluable assistance to any country for war, and for that reason, Tesla's inventions and patents will be put into the hands of the proper government officials, where they have been put to the best advantage for the United States. Now,
I love that.
He does not believe the subject is engaged in any un-American activities and stated that he was more than willing to turn these patents and inventions over to the proper government agency. He asserted that before Tesla died, he had spoken to the subject regarding his becoming a United States citizen. They were taking the proper steps to do that before Tesla died, and that Spanel then handed all of Tesla's effects to the alien property custodian in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Spanel advised that the day before Tesla had died, he tried to get in touch with the War Department officials in Washington in order that he might be able to make available to them patents and inventions that he had developed.
Yeah.
The death ray.
Oh. I imagine like a government, like military, would be really interested in a death ray.
Yeah. This is also where Spanel talks about how the Yugoslavian government was sending Tesla money every month and as some sort of a pension.
Okay. Weird.
Let's see.
He never like did anything for them.
No, he didn't.
Like as soon as maybe he went and like built them something that we don't know about or they didn't cover fully.
But yeah, then it goes on to elaborate, that he it was the Century magazine person of the century.
They're just like sucking his dick.
No, they're just talking about what he got noted for.
Oh, okay.
But
this is crazy though. I like this.
What's really interesting is when I was watching the Tesla File show, they were going into his room in the New Yorker, and there's a Tesla historian that works at the New Yorker, and was showing them their power grid because at that time, so they were talking about how they believed that Tesla had been not even like forced to live there, but placed there because there were FBI agents that were literally living on the same hall as Tesla,
right,
to keep an eye on him,
like to keep him safe or to make sure where he's going,
see what he was doing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The New Yorker at that time was the only hotel in the world that actually ran off its own
power
grid. Yeah.
This guy's all like,
they had a power plant in the basement.
I don't understand
that Tesla would oftentimes go down and work on. And there was a tunnel network to bring you from that hotel to other hotels in the area.
Okay.
So they believed that he could have, moved his stuff and his trunks and all of his research back and forth in private.
Right. Do we know if he actually used these tunnels or this is just speculation?
Oh no, he totally did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then we get to really what I consider the biggest red herring of this entire case.
More so than the non-conductor electricity that I didn't even understand what you said when you said it?
Yeah, basically he was able to influence electricity without having a conductor.
What's a conductor? Like what even is electricity? Like I don't even know. All I know is that it's in the walls.
Okay. And what carries it through the walls?
Wires.
Yeah, and what's inside those wires?
Metal.
Boom. There you go.
Oh, is that the conductor?
Mm-hmm. That's the conductor.
Oh, see, hey,
it's something that moves the electricity.
If you didn't take anything away from this podcast today,
yeah, we're teaching you basic science.
Well, we all need basic science.
This is really what I think is the biggest red herring of the entire thing is the fact that the head of the Office of Alien Property Custodian is a man named John G. Trump.
Oh.
John, his full name was John George Trump.
Oh, wow.
He is the paternal uncle
Okay.
of our president,
Uh,
Donald J.
oh
Trump.
my God.
And he was the one who not only took in all of Tesla's property, but also was the one who went through it,
And sorted it all out.
cataloged it all, and he had the job to tell the government if there was anything of merit in it. Now,
And this man's a Trump.
yeah.
Makes you think about those emails, doesn't it, listeners?
So a very short letter from him before he sent like a couple pages of his findings. He said,
Yeah.
"It should be no discredit to this distinguished engineer and scientist whose solid contributions to the electrical art made at the beginning of the present century to report that his thoughts and efforts during at least the past 15 years were primarily of a speculative, philosophical, and somewhat promotional character, often concerned with the production and wireless transmission of power, but did not include new, sound, working principles or methods for realizing such results. Truly yours, John G. Trump." Now, he enclosed a list that's titled "The Abstracts of Dr. Nikola Tesla's Writings Retained as Exhibits for the Alien Property Custodian." And now I'm not going to read you this entire list because it's, quite honestly, the entire alphabet's worth of examples, and then 2 other alphabets of examples.
What the fuck? It's a lot of examples.
Yeah. So
Like what?
here, like Exhibit A.
Okay.
Here we go. So the following papers, which are regarded as typical of Nikola Tesla's writings and thoughts of the period of 1925 to 1942, were removed for the purpose of record and listed below in random order in which they are found, together with brief individual abstract. Exhibit A, possibilities of electrostatic generators. B, reactive forces of glycerin and dynamite. Exhibit C, process of degasifying, refining, and purifying metals. How to generate high voltage and the acceleration of charged particles. Is literally just like a shit ton of notes that you are not allowed to read, but you have like a quarter of a paragraph of description from John G. Trump telling you, "This updated document by Tesla describes an electrostatic method of producing very high volts of capable of great power. This generator is to be used to accelerate charged particles, presumably electrons." Like, the guy didn't tell you jack shit.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, that's the most nothing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's like this thing does a thing.
And the worst part is that he also is like, yeah, and you can reference this other exhibit that's previously mentioned where this method's outlined. And you go back there and the method's like, yeah, it was an incomplete method. And you're like, damn it.
There's nothing here.
And so, the reason I call it a red herring is because, A, it's very long and kind of obtuse. But the primary reason I call it a red herring is because it's John G. Trump.
Right. Yeah.
Nowadays, anything involving any Trump makes people jump out of their skin and want to know more.
Yeah.
Which is why even within the last 5 years, there's been 3 separate occasions of a certain book becoming hyper popular. Once was in 2015, once was in 2016, and once was about 4 months ago.
Stormy Daniels.
Nope. The Adventures of Little Baron Trump Underground.
Okay.
It's a book from, I've had it on my computer for years. It's a book from either, I can't remember if it's from like the early 1800s or late 1700s.
Oh, this is an actual thing.
Yeah, it's there's like 4 or 5 really, really old German children books
Yeah, I can already hear
of little Baron Trump and his dog, and they're exploring this underground world, and he lives in this golden castle, and eventually he effectively finds time travel.
Oh.
That's what the whole thing's about, is that he finds
Okay.
time travel.
He goes to the future and becomes president.
And a lot of people think that. Exactly. That.
Oh, really? People actually think stupid shit like that?
Yeah, mainly because the main character's name is Baron Trump.
Yeah.
Which is Donald Trump, his like youngest little kid.
Yeah.
That kid's name is Baron. And in the book, Baron is guided by his dog, and oftentimes is found conversing with his Uncle Don, his Uncle Donald.
Right.
So
is he a duck?
No, Donald Trump.
Oh my God.
That's like literally the name of the character. Wow. And so people are like, okay, so
this is a weird book.
It's very odd. And so they believe, some people believe that, it's real, and they found a way to time travel.
Yeah, Berenstein Bears.
And because when I first found that it was Trump, I looked into him. And he's an electrical engineer that's known for 2 inventions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the first one is effectively chemotherapy.
Well,
actually, that was the second one.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, effectively chemotherapy. So like circulating radiation therapy.
Oh, okay.
The first one was the 1.25 million and the 2 million volt X-ray. Now,
all right.
Both of those things were conceptualized and noted in previous speeches done by Tesla.
Oh, you saying that he stole it?
I don't know, because that's the thing, is that Tesla didn't operate like that with stealing and not stealing.
Yeah.
Tesla just kind of spewed out things that he thought, and if anyone picked them up and did something with them, he was happy.
That's funny.
So I don't know if you can consider it that he stole them, because while he had his grubby little mitts on as much Tesla shit as anyone ever has in the entire history of the world besides Nikola Tesla himself.
And see what happens with his nephew. Gets elected president. Makes you think.
Yeah. But they wrap it up pretty quickly after that, honestly. They have about 10 pages of lists of all of Tesla's associates and how they were associated to him and where they are living now. Where
are they living now? When was this document done? Do you know?
In the 40s.
Oh.
Most of them were living in New York City.
Oh.
A lot. It's insane. Like the places where some of these people lived, like nowadays, are worth like fucking, $2 to $7 million.
Oh yeah, well that's just New York in general.
Exactly.
Like a shack is worth that much in New York City. What are you talking about?
And then it had another 60 pages of them just kind of tracking the back and forth of erecting a statue.
Of
Tesla
in the museum.
No, in Niagara Falls, because
they should.
His first big thing was his Tesla Dynamo.
Plant, yeah.
But really, a lot of the bullshit for it was, so and so is coming to the dedication, and they had the whole written out speech that they were about to do, and then so and so was attempting to go and almost couldn't make it because they didn't have a passport and couldn't get over the Canadian border, and it was just a bunch of bullshit.
It sounds like gossip.
It really was.
Is this the FBI?
It is the FBI. That's what they talk about.
16-year-old girl. And then Becky couldn't come because she had.
And then Karen, don't let me start on that bitch. Oh my god.
She forgot her passport. Oh my god.
She came over
wore
in
the
wrong
wrong
skirt.
Dress.
But so, then they go on to publicly attack the Yugoslavic Party and say that they're all communists.
Well, they probably are.
And then it goes on to talk about how the Yugoslavic Party are working with the U.S. Army because at that time, Yugoslavia got taken over and became Czechoslovakia.
Yeah, this is during the Iron Curtain.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, it's before that. Because it ended with them discussing how with Czechoslovakia being under Nazi control, they're very concerned because the majority of Tesla artifacts are now in Czechoslovakia in Nazi control.
That's how Hitler had the death rays.
We'll have to see. Because when I get to these next documents, that's what it's starting with.
Are we at the cliffhanger?
Oh, yeah. That's going to be our cliffhanger for this week, my friend.
Oh, jeez, that was fucking
Hitler
crazy.
just took over control, and we'll see what he tries to make with this shit.
Tune in next week to find out what happens to Hitler.
Spoiler.
Is he gonna win?
Spoiler, he didn't die because he had to reprise his famous role of dictator for Iron Sky 2. You saw that, right?
No, I saw the first one. I liked it.
The second one's coming out.
I can't wait.
It looks even better.
I'm
It's
fucking
that
stoked.
it's post moon Nazi nuclear war.
Yeah, no, I saw the first one.
The surviving humans are living on the dark side of the moon in a small encampment.
As you do. Yeah, no, I get that.
And in the trailer, they show that Hitler's still around, and he attacks the human base by riding in on the back of a T-Rex.
Okay, Kung Fury. What the
Effectively,
fuck?
yeah.
Yeah, like, this
And
is terrible.
they want to they have to fly into the center of the moon to find effectively the Holy Grail, basically this like certain atom that will heal all life or something.
Oh,
It looks just like the first one. Like
okay.
super ridiculous, very fun, huge production budget.
We're gonna have a review of it when it comes out.
Probably not. But
yeah,
I'm thinking
whole
that
thing fell apart.
I do still want to after next week when we're done with the Tesla docs. I think we should give the fans a fun episode. Remember how we've always been talking about doing one from the perspective of someone living in a movie's world?
Yeah, I remember you bringing that up to me several times.
Yeah, I think we should do it soon.
Okay.
I'll find a good movie for it.
All right.
But yeah, that was the end of Tesla 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, it would suck to live on the moon
Why?
because your days would be like 2 weeks long and your nights would be 2 weeks long because the way that the moon, full moon means that you have sun all day long.
Well, why wouldn't you just
Move?
You could just like make two. You could literally have like a day house and a night house.
Oh, you're just gonna live on one side of the house, one side of the world?
Well, no, you live on both. Every day, you wake up on the dark side, you fly to the light side to do all your work, you do all your day, you go back over to the dark side, and you switch houses depending on what part of the year it is.
But you're just gonna be flying back and forth? That's too much of a hassle.
Well, I
I'm
can
gonna
probably just take
live
my
on Earth.
rover, just zip across.
I don't know. I think the moon's a little bit bigger than you think it is.
It might be,
It is,
but at the
still
same
a
time, like
thing.
I mean, I know it's like a hollow planetoid satellite
It's
object,
not
but
hollow. It just has lots of holes like Swiss cheese.
it's just super cavernous. Literally, last time that we landed on the moon, we landed in like a spacecraft on the moon.
Yeah, 1970 something.
It let out a ring, like someone just hit a bell with a hammer. It let out a ring that was so loud that they literally were recording it on Earth without their scientific instruments. You could hear like a
I want to hear the tapes. Do they have any tapes of this?
probably.
Supposed ring moon.
We'll have to
moon
find out.
ring.
But thanks for joining us. If
Oh.
you have your own conspiracies that you want us to take down, please just send it over to us on either Facebook or send us an email.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. And by the way, our Spanish version will be coming out in 2024. We just have to learn Spanish fluently first, and then we'll do it for you, people.
Sí. ¿Cómo estás? Por favor.
You are so incorrect with all that.
I know moon is Luna. I think. Yeah.
I hope. All I know is that lengua is my favorite Hispanic meat.
Ooh, it's muy delicioso. El pastor.
No, dude, you gotta stick with lengua.
El pastor.
Some good tongue.
Oh yeah, tripe. It's like pig intestines.
Tripe is
It's intestines.
it's tendon.
No. Yeah, yeah. Its intestines.
Oh, you're right, because I always order tripe and tendon.
You're always like, give me the pig intestines and the tendons.
Yeah, the only thing I can't eat in my pho is meatballs.
The meatball.
I just don't trust them. I don't know what the fuck kind of meat.
Yeah, meatballs are fucking disgusting. I used to eat meatball sandwiches a lot, but now
I just don't trust the pho meatballs because
I
they're
don't trust
too
any
well
meatball.
compact.
I don't eat any meatball.
All right. Let's stop wasting these people's goddamn time. Have a good week, everyone. We'll see you next Wednesday. Remember, as always, you
Buenos dias.
gotta stay vigilant and stay wild out there, people.
Yeah, just don't run to Area 51.
Yeah, and if you
You're
do,
gonna get shot.
remember that no one else is running with you until September 20th.
Yeah,
It's literally 2 months and a day away.
Ooh.
So don't be late.
Don't be late.
Or do be late and just walk in when everyone's dead.
Yeah, like everyone, like the whole military is like, ooh, good thing we murdered all those civilians running.
All right, guys,
1.7.
take 5. Let's go to Outback.
And then just one lone guy just runs in.
He'll just walk slowly.
It's just like
He's just in a ghillie suit. He's been crawling for 7 weeks. Just an inch a day.
He showed up early and showed up late.
That'd be impressive.
He was like the Marines, first one in, last one in.
First one in, last one in.
The only one in.
You're like a grandpa that tells me that I walked uphill both ways to school.
I did.
What? How?
Oh, you know, I'm not very bright.
In a valley and on top of a mountain at the exact same time?
No, I just fucked up every day. I walked up the thing. I was like, God
didn't know
damn
my
it.
lefts and rights.
It's a really inefficient route.
Jesus. All right. I love you.
Go fuck yourself.
Don't tell my mother, but I love you. We need to be together. Please marry me. Building / your house, usually.
Yeah.
And how much power you're using and XYZ about it.
Right.
And they actually will they sell a solar powered grid for your home or building that is completely done with small panels that sit outside your window.
I wasn't paying attention. This is solar panels?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a company, like you literally just send them like 10 pieces of information about this building, including like the size of the windows, and they will send you these solar panels that you just like attach to the windows. And so like, here's your window. The solar panel would just sit like right here. And
outside the window.
outside the window, just like at the bottom. And like with one in each one of your windows, you can easily power this entire building for free.
Yeah.
And be off the grid.
I'm all about getting off the grid.
Really,
But in the winter it gets cold here, so we use natural gas. You can't just like find natural gas. You gotta like get it pumped in through pipes.
Well, yeah, but what does that have to do with your electric bill?
It has to do with the gas bill.
Yeah, but who gives a shit about that?
Again, being off the grid means that not 100% of you is not on the grid. You can't be 99% off the grid. And then you're on the grid.
Well, to be fair, if you're 100% off the grid,
Yeah.
then you're a dark spot on the grid. So you're still on the grid. If anything, to be truly off the grid, you want to have just like a foot and a half over the line and just keep like the heel on the grid.
Yeah.
So you're not suspicious.
Like if you jump right before an elevator smashes to the ground, you can like not get smashed.
Yeah, I mean, or you could just look into how elevators are fucking made and realize that they'll never smash the way they do in the movies.
They do
No.
in China. I've watched them.
They don't.
I've seen them do this.
Literally
I've seen them do this.
any elevator that's been made since the 1990s has so many support cables that are literally
In America, where we have like laws. regulations.
You're so right. No other country in the world has laws.
They don't have the same kind of regulations. They're just like, yeah, put it up. How many cables you need in that thing? Hey, just the one, you Chinese piece of shit.
This sounds like an American.
Well,
this sounds like an American has gone over to another country and just tells a Chinese
two
piece
Chinese
of shit.
people talking.
How was that a Chinese person talking?
Let me do a stereotypical New York accent for you. A hero.
Oh, now I'm hearing the New York.
Where is your... Oh, God.
No, you need to just try and sell me a Gucci bag and a Prada watch.
You buy now. You buy. You
buy it. No.
You buy now.
No, I'm looking for fireworks.
Where is money?
I'm looking.
Sucky $5.
Holy shit. Did you see that video of the guy who...
got decapitated? Yeah, that was
No, the one who...
brutal.
There was like a block party on his street that was getting out of hand. So he secured Roman candles to a drone and flew. That
was my fucking strategy.
Flew this drone and was shooting fireworks at the partygoers until they dispersed.
I'm surprised that it took this long. I had theory. When I first saw a drone, I was like, how long is it going to be until someone just puts a gun on that and just robs people?
Well, I mean, there's only like 4 counties in the entire United States that are legally authorized to have armed drones.
Doesn't fucking matter. We're talking about criminals here.
No, I get it, but
are you talking about military armed drones? Or
no, I'm talking about like literally like a drone that you could buy that is armed. But
do they come armed?
No. Well, they do sell them to the police armed. Yeah. But
yeah. No, I mean like
they have to use non-lethal weapons on them.
It's not called. It's less than lethal. There's no such thing as they stopped using that term.
Well, I know because their non-lethal weapons kill more people a year than their fucking lethal weapons.
Yeah, so they have to call them less than lethal because non-lethal implies that you can shoot somebody in the head and they're like, "Well, I'm perfectly fine."
I was gonna say, yeah, Danny Glover is not killing as many people as stun guns.
Boom, boom. I'm too old for this shit.
Exactly, and I'm not. But yeah, they can put like the beanbag guns. They can put mace. They can put tasers. They can put.
No, I would just put a gun, a handgun, and just like zip tie it or whatever. Do the robot.
Yeah, but it would. I mean, the force of firing the bullet. I don't think the drone would be able to like stay.
It doesn't matter. Like we're not talking about getting into firefights. We're talking about
I'm just saying, like even just like if you were to like get it to shoot the one, like the pop, just that. I don't think it would shoot where you want it to.
Okay,
just because of the amount of force it needs to pull the trigger, and then the sheer force of the gun firing, your drone would be like doing like backflips and shit, and you shoot a random baby across the street.
Listen, you're not paying attention. I've seen these YouTube videos of these kids putting guns on drones and them working perfectly fine. I'm talking about a drone just coming down, right? Like you're Dean Maldonado, you're walking home, you're like, yeah, I had a pretty good day today. And then this drone comes down with a gun and a bag in front of it, and the speaker says, put the money in the bag or else I'm going to shoot you. Are you going to say, oh, if you shoot the drone, it's going to fly all... Or are you going to be like, Jesus Christ, yeah, I'm sorry. What's going on?
I don't know. Maybe
I would be terrified.
Maybe I'll just like run straight.
Drones love going straight. You mean zigzag.
No, but if it just comes down at me...
Yeah.
All I have to do is make sure that I'm underneath it. You know?
Then it just backs up. I don't know. Like
that's the thing about drones. That like, you're the safest place you can be from a drone is directly underneath it.
Unless it's a drone from ISIS and they have grenades on it.
You mean a drone from America?
No, like ISIS
with bombs on it.
ISIS would buy like $100, $1,000 drones and put like grenades on them and just fly them into Israel and just drop grenades. It was like essentially like. The modern day bomber.
Hey, at least they're trying new things.
Yeah, no, they're evolving.
That's terrifying. The only thing I want evolving are my Pokemon and my stupid little Japanese emulator.
The only thing that 99.9% of people buy Raspberry Pis for.
What? Pokemon emulators?
Yeah, just like, I need to play my Pokemon emulator.
Yeah, I mean it's one of the best games of all time.
Okay, I feel like that's a good place for you to inhale the truth.
Nah, not much truth in there. But Should we just say hello to everyone, I guess?
I don't know.
I mean, they've been listening for long enough.
Well, this is the end.
Damn it, I always forget.
This is the last thing they're going to hear. So
All right, well,
they actually have been if you listen to this whole thing, send us an email.
Yeah, please do.
Please, for the love of God. We've been asking people to email us, and no one's...
Yeah, my inbox is empty.
I just keep sending you weird decapitation videos.
Well, on that note...
Goodbye. And hello.